All right, Brooks and Jared here to talk about the Team Liquid versus Golden Guardians game. This one was a barn burner. Golden Guardians beat Team Liquid, if that's believable, but it happened, and it was a good game. So, Jared, how about you run us through the first pick and ban phase?
All right, yeah, going into the first pick and ban phase, Golden Guardians really focused on trying to ban out Belter from these roaming style mid laners that have become popular by taking out the Azir and the Galio, and then followed by banning the Ornn, which is a champion that's generally a pretty safe top laner that a guy like Impact would be looking for since he's been struggling the past week. And we saw Team Liquid taking out some playmaking, or not necessarily playmaking, but carry top laners like the Gangplank and the Camille, taking them away from Lorlo, as well as banning the Zoe out from High. We saw both teams took their junglers for their first picks. We saw Contracts picking up the Skarner, which is which has become sort of a popular jungler to take out of the big two, being Skarner and Sejuani, for these early game aggressive junglers, since a lot of their favored champions aren't necessarily in the meta. And the other two of those being Sejuani, which Xmithy picked up, which he's shown a lot of good play on, going even into last season. Doublelift picked up his Tristana, which I'm sure not a lot of people would be surprised that he's looking at these hyper carries. Lorlo picked up the Gnar, and definitely picked up the Varus. And surprising pick from Impact taking the Scion, looking to go for some big plays with the Sejuani ult and his ult. And yeah, that was the first half of the
Yeah,
draft.
so for the second half of the pick ban, Golden Guardians banned out the Morgana and the Rise, and Team Liquid banned the Victor and the Tom Kinch. Interesting bans here, specifically the Morgana. I think that's an interesting ban. We've seen it picked up in support a couple times, but it's, I don't really see it necessary to ban it. I guess it's a pretty good Braum counter, but I wouldn't say it's the greatest Braum counter. If Braum even has counters, frankly, I don't know. And then Victor getting banned out too. I think he's been buffed into a position where he's like a solid tier 3 mid laner. Once you've taken out basically Zoe and Galio, he's and Azir and Rise. He's kind of probably what would be the next best option, even though we haven't actually seen him in pro play yet.
Yeah, still don't really. I just wasn't feeling that. I just don't feel the Victor right now.
Yeah, but
But I guess we'll find out.
Golden Guardians finished out their draft with the Braum and the Orianna, and Team Liquid finished out their draft with the Taric and the Corki. So across the board, both of these drafts on paper look pretty solid. I mean, there's no glaring issues. They're both like pretty standard picks. High got his Orianna. That's a great pick for him. Belter has been looking really, really good on the Corki. He had that game where he got like 11 kills. What was that, last week or 2 weeks ago? I don't know. He's been showing up real hardcore. And then I actually think that Skarner on Contracts is a great pick for him because it's kind of this like aggressive but yet still super duper tanky. So he fits into the meta, but he also fits into Contracts' style of playing very, very aggressive. So I really like that pick for him. The last pick that I would highlight would be the top lane. I think that Gnar pretty much wins every matchup against these like super heavy tanks. He's gonna split push better than Sion. He's gonna have more reliable CC than Sion. Overall, I would just say that Gnar is just a better pick over Sion. So I'd say if I had to pick someone who won the draft, I would say that Golden Guardians probably edged out just slightly, but not enough to really make that big of a difference.
Yeah, like you said, I like the Contracts pick on Skarner. And I think you see a lot of guys like Lyra even picking up the Skarner as kind of the answer to these early game aggressive junglers not being able to have their best champions in the meta. And I really did like TL's synergy with the Scion and Sejuani ults, as well as having the Taric with Ardent Sensor and the double marksman composition. But yeah.
Yeah. All right. So run us through some of your big points for this game.
Yeah, early game, it was another one of these slow start games that just like everything looks, pretty even up until the 20-minute mark. TL was kind of meeting, the contract was playing really aggressive early and doing a great job of it. TL was trying their best to, keep them under control, but by the end of the game, Golden Guardians had 5 dragons to TL's none. Golden Guardians didn't drop a Baron. Like TL couldn't pick up a Baron. They couldn't get an inhibitor.
Didn't they? I think Golden Guardians.
I think I saw 3.
Okay.
3 Barons to Golden Guardians, which I'll say something to about them not really being able to close out games, but yeah, it was just like TL like just couldn't get anything going, and the game still went pretty late. But yeah, I wanted to highlight the play from Contracts early on. Matt, who coming into the league, we knew him for a lot of these playmaking supports like the Braum and the Bard. Did a great job making a lot of great saves on Deftly when you would get picked off. And high on this control mage, being able to, not necessarily be the big carry, but being able to sit back and lead like High does. Like we all know the High effect. He was really able to do his job there.
For sure.
Yeah.
I'd like to highlight Lorlo. I think he had a great game. There was one point where he went a little bit too aggressive when they were trying to push down the bottom inhibitor turret for Team Liquid. They had 3 Mountain Dragons, and yet Lorlo still felt it was necessary to flash in and try to Gnar ultimate back Corki Pobelter. So that he went a little bit too aggressive there, but I liked the aggression. I think that for having a pick like Skarner, who's a really good engage. Though maybe a bit unreliable at times, Gnar is also a really good kind of secondary engage. So Lorlo may have flubbed up that fight there, but about 2 to 3 minutes later, he made a teleport play into the mid lane where he won Golden Guardians the fight. So. Yeah, I think he played a great game. He split pushed well, did everything he needed to do. Was really excited about the game too. That was nice to see it. Some in-game comms. He was like,
when they win, Lorlo just goes crazy. Yeah.
Really cool. I really like to see him excited. I like him as a player. But when we look at TL, I think overall, I think that the bot lane is fairly non-existent. Impact, I still have a lot of big questions about. We always know Impact as being a player that really shows up in playoffs, but I've always thought there's going to be a playoffs where Impact doesn't show up, and I think he's been getting outshone a lot by a lot of other top laners, and I'm afraid that this might be the year when Impact might not show up. And Team Liquid needs that because the top lane pool is incredibly strong in North America. But yeah, I don't think Double Lift really did anything this game, and he's what TL really lives and breathes on. Like even if Pobelter's not going to just go off in the early game, and they really need Double Lift, he basically did nothing. And there was one play where he actually suicided, where he hopped over the river wall towards Golden Guardians into like a 1v3 and just like got obliterated. Like it was, I watched that and I was like, that's like Wood 6 plays right there. Like that's people in my elo, garbage elo, Silver 2 don't even. They're like, come on.
I do believe he kept the Double Lift dying with Flash meme alive at some point this weekend. I wasn't sure if it was this game or the other game, but I do believe he died with Flash at some point, and they pointed it out. But moving forward, looking at Golden Guardians in this win, as I mentioned, playing around High's leadership, Matt on these playmaking supports, and Contracts on these aggressive junglers. Do you think that this core 3 could be a good group to build this team around? I think that their roles that they play don't necessarily conflict with each other. I think that it meshes pretty well. So I think that you can plug and play those 3 as long as they've got the roles that they're comfortable with.
Sure. I think all 3 of these guys are really good players. Obviously, we know Matt struggled really hard last year on Team Liquid, but the whole situation there was just awful. But we know Matt from 2015 was probably a top 5 support, top 4 support, depending on who you were looking at. I don't even remember who the best supports at that time were. It's probably Afromu and somebody else. I don't even remember. Maybe Smoothie. Throw Smoothie in there. I don't know if that was before he came into prominence.
My boy.
Matt was looking really, really good 2 years ago. And I really like to see him come back into form. Obviously, Ha is a great player. He's always been a great player. He's going to continue to be a great player. And Contracts is still growing. And we've already seen him be a phenomenal player. And we can only see him get better. So, yeah, I mean, I think you're right. I think the Golden Guardians will have a lot to look forward to. This is their second 1-in-1 week in a row. So it's only up from here, especially when last week they beat 100 Thieves, the team that was struggling, but it's still a good team. And then obviously TL, you could say they were struggling. I don't know. It's hard to say. But, I mean, I think we should be worried about TL. I mean, what do you think? What do you think is where do you think TL goes forward with this? I mean, they lose to the worst team in the league. Worst team in the league, we'll put that in quotes. But, how do you feel like
I think that
these next coming weeks and going into playoffs?
I think that it's definitely time to start worrying. I mean, this was an organization that was built and bought to win a championship now. And if that doesn't happen, I don't even know if this lineup's gonna last until next split.
I mean, you got a lot
I'm not convinced.
You got Double Lift who's talking shit about everybody, but then again, he's on a team that is 6-4. One more loss and they'd have a 50% win rate. They'd be 5-5, which is not where any team wants to be, frankly. Yeah, I mean, I think TL should be worried. I think they got some behind-the-scenes stuff that may be going on that they need to work out, but I don't know. But that's all I got to say on this one. But thank you for tuning in, guys. That was TL versus Golden Guardians. It was a good game. Go back and watch it if you haven't.
Yeah, fun game. Absolutely.
Thanks for tuning in.